Hi, everyone, and welcome to the With Love Nyasha podcast. I am your host, Nyasha Marian, and here on the show, our goal is to share ideas and experiences as a way to help you own your creative essence and find healing as you embrace your essence. So, today's episode, I want to focus a little bit more on anonymous gifts, right? And when I say anonymous gifts, I'm not referring to you showing up at your doorstep ready to go in your home and there's a random box with no name from a complete stranger that would cause you to kind of be cautious, and because that would be concerning, right? That's not the gift I'm referring to. When I talk about anonymous gifts, I'm talking about the idea where you're living life and things just seem to be falling into a type of alignment or a type of synchronicity that's almost like flowing with the things you've been saying you want. Just like things are happening, doors are opening, opportunities are coming, gifts are being given to you that align with the life you say you want and the growth you say you want to go towards. Those are the anonymous gifts I'm talking about. And this idea came because I was watching a movie, I think it's called Dare to Dream on Netflix. And the actor in the movie was talking to a little boy and he quoted Einstein, I think is who he said this. But Einstein, said that sometimes coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. And after I heard that, it really stuck with me because I was like, huh. And after, I guess, that being internalized in myself, I started noticing the different anonymous gifts that I've been getting. And it's interesting because I was talking to a friend who was mentioning how she wanted to just get some lemons. Like she just wanted lemons. And it just so happened that her neighbor had a lemon tree and had randomly asked her, "Hey, I have an abundance of lemons. Do you want some?" And so she received a bag full of lemons. And I thought when I heard that, I was like, huh, an anonymous gift. And I explained to her what I heard in the movie. And we're like, huh, it's interesting, right? So my question for you is, how many anonymous gifts have you received? Or here's an even better question if you don't know the answer to that, right? What if the abundance you're looking for is right in front of you? Because I think it's very easy, especially with a lot of the media that's out there, to focus on the negatives or focus on what you don't have. But what if everything you need and everything that you need to like help you grow is all around you? And it may not be physically in your possession, but the opportunities for you to get there are present, right, within your sphere. And I really thought about this, and it's funny because shortly after, this message being internalized, this is a few weeks ago, I was like, it would be really great to have some chocolate right now. But I brushed it off because I was like, I'm trying to be healthy and not eat lots of junk food, right? And then fast forward a week or so later, my mom came home from work and she was like, "Oh, hey, do you want some chocolate? Some of my coworkers gave me some chocolate and like, would you like some?" And I just smiled because I knew, I was like, oh, the creator just brought me in another gift. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have the awareness of the fact that this flow, this alignment, this synchronicity that comes with things you say you want and desire. And yeah, I brushed it off, but it wasn't that it wasn't a desire. I wanted it, but I was like, it's not something that's urgent right now. And even though I didn't go actively looking for it, it was presented to me as an option. And I will be very honest with you guys. If I didn't have the awareness to know that this was an anonymous gift, naturally, my response would have been like, "No, I'm okay. It's okay. I'm good." And then later in the day, I would be wondering why, like, I still want the chocolate and be kind of like, oh, dang, now I have to go out of my way to do this and this and that. But I didn't respond that way. Thank God. I didn't respond that way. And I say this honestly to just kind of highlight that sometimes the things we desire and the things that we look for as opportunities sometimes are presented to us through other people, through different opportunities, through just like divine circumstances. And I think it's important to note that if we become so focused on looking for that opportunity, that answer, that thing, that resource through a specific location or from a specific person or from a specific building or a specific company, we can unknowingly blind ourselves to the ways that we can get the answer, the opportunity, and the things through different ways, right? If I wasn't aware that I had a desire for chocolate a week ago, and a week or so later, my mom somehow randomly says, "Hey, do you want chocolate?" I was like, "Oh, that's that's an anonymous gift." If I didn't have that awareness, yeah, like I said, I would have brushed it off, right? And so I think it's important to note this because many times we're looking for resources to come from specific people. And this kind of reminds me of a movie I was watching over Christmas last year, actually. The movie, I think it's called A Shoe Addict's Christmas, right? A Shoe Addict's Christmas. And I was like, just a simple movie I saw on Amazon Prime. I'm like, oh, it looks kind of cute. And I like shoes. So why not? And there's a story in the movie, and I feel like this is a story that people share in different ways, but I heard it specifically from this movie. And this woman was telling the girl that, it's like there was a guy in a boat and there was a flood or a storm or something. And he kept saying, don't worry, God's going to save me. So one boat came by and say, "Hey, do you need help? Like, come in." And the guy kept saying, "No, don't worry, God's going to save me." I think the story goes 3 more boats came and the guy kept saying, "God's going to save me." And then he died. And then supposedly, right, the story goes that he went to heaven and asked God, "Why didn't you save me?" And God's response was, "I sent 3 boats." When I heard that, I was like, that is so funny. But I think it's relevant to what I'm talking about today because how many opportunities and resources and things have been presented to you, but you say, "No, don't worry, I'm going to find it another way." Or, "No, I think there's something else waiting for me through that door," but it's the very thing that you desire to grow. And don't get me wrong, right? There's a level of discernment that I think needs to happen when you're being presented with things to make sure that the intent is genuinely good and not necessarily to try and harm you. So I guess consider being open to the different opportunities that come. Just something to think about. I think it's second nature. Well, I'll speak for myself. Something I've recognized about myself is sometimes especially when I'm super fixated on something, right? Or fixated on a particular outcome or fixated on a particular goal. Not saying being fixed on your goal is a bad thing, but when I'm very fixated on something, it's hard for me to see other ways I could get there, right? And I think this is the thing. I think there's a big difference between being fixed on a goal and then being fixed on how to achieve the goal. And I think life would be a bit easier if we were fixed on goals, but we're open to the different ways and opportunities on how that goal can be achieved. And I found myself in a space where I was fixed on both, and it just wasn't working well for me. I found myself in spaces of overwhelm, sometimes frustration. So I say all of this to say is sometimes those very coincidences that seem super random, consider that maybe they're gifts from the Creator. Maybe they're things that are being given to you to help you reach your goal faster. Of course, discernment is important, but just something to consider. For example, it's not a coincidence that you wanted flowers and randomly your friend or even your partner, if you have one, brought you flowers. It was an anonymous gift, but it was also a loving gesture from your friend or partner, right? And I think this is the key too when it comes to this, right? There's just an important thing to know where you can say, "Oh, wow, an anonymous gift from the Creator." But do not fail to honor the person who brought you those things, because it wasn't just an anonymous gift from the creator. Yes, have the awareness to recognize that. But I think we have to also always honor the people that are being, let's say, used. I don't like that word, but I'll use it for now for simplicity's sake. We have to honor the people that are being used to deliver these anonymous gifts, right? Because it would be so disheartening for, let's say, me as a friend to be like, oh, hey, here you go. And you say, oh, yeah, thank you, creator, for this gift. And it's great to honor that. But you also honor the very person, the very vessel that is being used to give you the things that you're requesting, which comes with, sharing your thanks, right? Gratitude, and however other ways you express that. And that's something I feel like is often missed, especially when we become so hyper fixated on getting something from the creator. That's not the goal. Live life, allow the alignment, the synchronicity, and the flow of what is to help you get to your goals. Don't be so fixed on the how, but in the process of doing all of this, make sure to always, always honor the people in your life, or the people that somehow join you at some point in life, whether it's for the long haul or whether it's short term. Honor them in the ways that they may choose to honor you, and share their gratitude by providing you with opportunities and, answers, solutions, etc. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And I hope this message helped someone, because it's something that I became very aware of. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that was an anonymous gift. And now that I've become more aware of them, I find that my mind is a bit more calm. I'm not going to pretend and say I don't have my moments of frustration, but I find myself in a better space of calm, So that's all for today. So before I go, let's not forget the warm words, right? My warm words for you are this: pay attention to the little wins and get excited for them, because they set the stage and prepare your attitude for the bigger wins. Your attitude and perception will impact how you receive the little wins or gifts or opportunities, and the larger wins or gifts or opportunities. So practice gratitude every day. And even if you take an L, and an L being a loss, right? Even if you take a loss, even if you feel like a failure, even if you feel like a loser, or even if you feel like you're taking all these major hits, it won't always be easy. But remember that there is wisdom and lessons to gain from your experiences. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I am rooting for you. Okay, bye.